Ladies and gentlemen, it's a real pleasure to be here with you all again. Visiting this university and this city always feels a bit like coming home for me. Prince Louis has always been the little spark of the royal family, cheerful, charming, and a bit mischievous. Whether he's sticking his tongue out on the balcony at Buckingham Palace or making people smile with his yawns at official events, he has been the warm heart of a more approachable monarchy. But recently, that brightness dimmed in a way that shook both the palace and the nation. It all started with what seemed like a small moment, a brief interaction during Trooping the Color, caught on video, lasting just a few seconds. When Queen Camilla spoke to Prince Louis, everything shifted. His expression dropped. The smile vanished. Catherine, standing nearby, suddenly looked tense. Her usually calm and gentle expression turned cold, even angry. Within hours, royal observers analyzed every frame. Lip readers suggested Camilla told Louis to stop acting silly. Others claimed she muttered an insult without realizing the cameras were watching. Whatever was actually said, the body language was clear. By the day's end, rumors inside the palace had escalated into serious concerns. According to several sources, what happened was more than a private scolding or an awkward moment. It was a breaking point. Catherine, known for keeping her composure even during family tensions, reportedly lost her patience, and with good reason. Camilla had crossed a line before, far from this being the first time. Palace staff say the Queen Consort and the Princess of Wales have a long-standing feud, fueled by jealousy, power struggles, and subtle sabotage. Camilla didn't just attack Kate. She went after her child, too. Insiders believe that's when everything changed. Catherine wasn't just upset. She was done staying quiet, tired of being pushed aside, done letting Camilla wield power without challenge. What followed was a series of tense confrontations, cancelled appearances, and political moves within the palace that left King Charles unsettled. William found himself caught between loyalty and love, while Camilla simmered with anger. The monarchy, already bruised by years of scandal, may now be facing its toughest crisis yet, one that strikes at the future generation's very core. So what exactly did Camilla say to Prince Louis? Why did Catherine's reaction shake the palace? Is this the moment the real battle between Queen Camilla and the future Queen Catherine begins? The truth will surprise you. And what are the consequences? They could change the monarchy itself. The day was supposed to be one of unity, a celebration of royal tradition, grandeur, and authority. Trooping the Color, the king's formal birthday event, is one of the most carefully organized occasions on the royal calendar. Every hat was perfectly placed, every child had practiced their role, and every smile was planned. But no one expected that a quick, unplanned moment on the balcony would spark a royal storm that might take years to heal. The moment happened just as the Royal Air Force flew overhead, painting the sky red, white, and blue. The crowd below cheered. The senior royals stood as usual, with Charles and Camilla in the center, and William and Catherine slightly behind. Prince George and Princess Charlotte stood with their parents, confident and beaming. Then there was Prince Louis, the youngest, wriggling adorably in his little military-style outfit. Camilla leaned toward Louis as the cameras focused on the family portrait, whispering something softly. At first it seemed like a simple comment, but Louis's face changed instantly. His smile disappeared. He shifted awkwardly and looked down at the ground. Catherine's response was immediate and clear. Her shoulders tightened, and her smile froze like porcelain. Though brief, those watching closely noticed it immediately. Social media exploded. Within hours, a video of the moment went viral with captions asking, "What did Camilla just say to Louis?" Lip readers shared their opinions. Some said Camilla told him to behave and stand still. Others said she criticized his playful behavior as unfit for a future royal. Whatever the exact words, the tone was unmistakably condescending. Louis wasn't the only one who noticed. After the event ended and the family waved goodbye, Catherine was seen stepping away from Camilla, positioning Charlotte between them. Later, she whispered something to William, who looked down uncomfortably before giving a slight nod. However, the real trouble was only just beginning. According to an anonymous palace staff member, Catherine unexpectedly chose not to attend Clarence House's post-parade luncheon, a rare absence she had never before missed. She was expected to be there. Her name appeared on the seating chart. Then, without explanation, she disappeared, the source said. No message, just gone. Another insider said Catherine left the event almost silently, leading the children to a waiting car with a cold expression. William, they added, looked visibly uneasy but stayed behind, likely to avoid further speculation. This wasn't just a royal mother having a rough day, one insider explained. This was a woman who had reached her limit. By the following morning, British newspapers ran headlines stating that Kate missed the luncheon due to fatigue. But online, few believed it. Hashtags like #ProtectLouis and #QueenKate quickly gained popularity. Fan pages shared side-by-side photos comparing Catherine's usually bright public appearance with the stormy look on her face after Camilla spoke to Louis. A blurry photo taken outside the event gates fueled the rumors. It appeared that Kate was speaking firmly to a royal assistant, pointing toward the balcony, her brow furrowed and lips pressed tight. The caption claimed she looked ready to explode. Behind the palace walls, damage control kicked in immediately. Phones were confiscated. Staff were warned to stay silent. But, as usual, the truth began to surface. According to one insider, Camilla had already crossed boundaries with Catherine's children, but this incident was the final straw. Unlike previous episodes that were swept under the rug, this time the moment was caught on video. This time, the world saw it. Most importantly, Catherine was not going to stay quiet. The palace may have tried to smooth things over, but something had changed that day, not just publicly, but deeply within the monarchy itself. For once, the conflict wasn't between the king and the public. It was between two queens, one current, one future, and a toddler who may have unintentionally sparked a family feud. Outsiders view Queen Camilla as a dignified step-grandmother, smiling at photo calls, standing properly by King Charles, and appearing with William and Kate's children. But insiders have long speculated that her feelings toward Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and especially Prince Louis are much more complicated. According to former royal aides, Camilla has never fully accepted the massive popularity of William and Kate's family. What started as subtle envy toward Catherine has reportedly grown into something more personal, resentment over how the Cambridge children have captured the nation's affection. Camilla has always known she would never be Diana, a senior aide explained. But now she feels like she isn't even Kate. And what about the children? They're adored, especially Louis. Camilla doesn't understand this. She sees his cheeky behavior as undisciplined and thinks their public affection is inappropriate for a future king. She believes they're being raised too softly. One assistant recalled a moment during a 2022 Christmas walk at Sandringham. As crowds cheered loudly for the young royals, Camilla allegedly muttered under her breath, "Here come the golden children again." A nearby staffer overheard and said Camilla was clearly irritated that the children, particularly Louis, were getting more attention than she and Charles combined. But her feelings go beyond mere jealousy. When Prince Louis was born, there were small but meaningful discussions about whether he would have the same royal style as his siblings. Though it was approved, sources say Camilla fought behind the scenes to keep his title unofficial, saying, "The monarchy doesn't need another spare." Then there was a troubling incident involving Princess Charlotte at a private family gathering at Balmoral. According to a source close to the royal staff, Camilla jokingly told Charlotte, "You'll never be queen, so enjoy the tiaras while you can." Though it was dismissed as a joke, others who heard it say Charlotte's expression fell. Catherine, clearly worried, immediately pulled her daughter away. But Prince Louis seems to bear the brunt of Camilla's resentment. Maybe he reminds people of Diana's kindness. Maybe it's because his playful personality attracts attention, something Camilla has always wanted but never fully embraced. Camilla reportedly calls him the performer with sarcasm, referring to his viral moments during Queen Elizabeth's Platinum Jubilee. She doesn't find it charming. A source said she feels it's disrespectful. She's told people he needs more discipline and must learn his place in the family. This underlying tension might have stayed hidden, just another quiet feud among royals. But what happened during Trooping the Color, captured on video, wasn't a one-time slip. It was the mask falling away. The world got a glimpse of what some staff say they've seen for years, a woman who resents the very future she is supposed to support. Catherine saw it as a betrayal, not only because it was disrespectful, and not just because it was public, but because it involved her child. Camilla's behavior was not only wrong but unacceptable for a mother already walking a tightrope within the royal family. Now, those quiet jealousies have exploded into a full-blown royal conflict, threatening to turn personal tensions into a palace-wide crisis. For years, Catherine, Princess of Wales, has been the model royal wife, graceful, composed, steady. She's handled palace politics, media storms, and frosty looks from senior royals with a practiced smile and respectful silence. But every person has a breaking point, and Camilla found Catherine's when she attacked Prince Louis. Sources say the drama continued after Catherine left the Trooping the Color luncheon in silence. In fact, that was where everything began. When Catherine returned to Adelaide Cottage, she reportedly secluded herself in her rooms with Louis, refusing to speak with aides or staff for the rest of the afternoon. Only William was allowed in, and even then their conversations were tense, quiet, and marked by long pauses. When later asked about the luncheon, aides said Catherine was unwell. But sources close to the family insisted she wasn't sick. She was furious. For the first time in years, she didn't try to hide it. The next morning, Catherine broke royal protocol by formally requesting a private meeting with King Charles. She wanted Camilla to apologize for what she did to Prince Louis. However, her request was quietly declined. The official reason? The king's schedule was full. The unofficial truth? Charles didn't want to get involved in a family argument he couldn't control. That rejection only fueled Catherine's anger. According to a palace aide, Catherine exploded during a private dinner later that week with senior family members. She was reportedly expressionless, silent, and pushed her plate aside after the main course. When Camilla attempted small talk, Catherine snapped, "You don't deserve to speak to my son like that. Not now. Not ever." Everyone at the table froze. Even William was taken by surprise. Camilla, calm as always in public, allegedly smiled and said, "I say what I think fits. That's what family does." The mood in the room dropped sharply. Catherine got up and left, leaving her dessert untouched and her husband stunned. After that night, everything changed. Catherine stopped attending events with Camilla. She went on solo charity visits, avoided joint appearances, and even rearranged her children's schedules to prevent conflicts with Camilla's engagements. Palace insiders described Windsor as icy, with staff rushing to make sure the two never ended up in the same room by mistake. The situation grew so serious that one senior staff member said Catherine considered temporarily moving to Bucklebury with her parents and children. She felt isolated and betrayed, convinced no one in the institution would protect her children. For her, that was a deal-breaker. William, usually the calm mediator between his wife and father, felt torn. On one side was his duty to the crown. On the other was his wife's fierce maternal anger, a kind of anger that doesn't fade with time. He reportedly urged her to be patient. "Let it settle," he said. "We don't need more drama." But Catherine was done with diplomacy. Not after what Camilla had said, not after Charles turned away, and especially not when her son was at risk. For once, the composed future queen didn't smile. She was finished being polite. Inside Buckingham Palace, King Charles found himself trapped, not by politics or parliament, but by the two most powerful women in his life, his wife and his son's wife. Whatever side he took, he risked shaking the very foundation of the monarchy. Charles had spent years working to legitimize Camilla in the public eye. From the other woman to queen consort, it was a slow, careful campaign of acceptance, rebranding, and unwavering loyalty. Camilla had stood by him through his darkest scandals, and now that she wore the crown beside him, Charles saw any threat to her as a personal betrayal. This time, however, the threat didn't come from tabloids or distant relatives. It came from Catherine, the graceful, beloved future queen and mother of his grandchildren. At first, Charles tried to downplay the balcony incident, reportedly advising Camilla to let it go. Hurt by Catherine's accusations and the public's sympathy for her, Camilla refused to back down. One royal aide said Camilla told Charles bluntly, "If she doesn't learn her place now, she never will." That statement lit a fire. Charles, once a champion of family harmony, now found himself pulled in opposite directions. William had asked for private talks twice but was politely turned down under the pretense of state duties. Behind closed doors, Charles avoided his son out of fear, not anger. He knew supporting William and Kate would mean admitting Camilla had crossed a line, and Camilla didn't take shame lightly. In a rare moment of honesty, Charles reportedly told a senior staff member, "This family doesn't need another conflict, not after all we've been through." But even he knew it was too late. Seeing Charles hesitate, Camilla pressed harder. She claimed Catherine's reaction was exaggerated and even suggested the Princess of Wales was emotionally fragile from stress. According to sources, she recommended limiting Kate's solo engagements, suggesting a break might be good for her. Insiders say this was when Charles lost control. One senior colleague claims he had a breakdown in his study, pounding his desk and shouting, "I'm tired of dealing with egos. Why is my family always at war?" Yet no public action was taken, and as days passed in silence, the tension only grew. Meanwhile, the public noticed Catherine hadn't been seen in over 2 weeks, sparking rampant speculation. Kensington Palace issued a bland statement saying the princess was focusing on family, but even devoted royal fans were skeptical. Online forums buzzed about a deeper struggle, and Camilla's name trended for the wrong reasons. Kate's popularity soared, adding to the tension. A narrative was forming, one the palace could no longer control. Charles faced a tough choice between loyalty to his wife and the future of the monarchy represented by his son and daughter-in-law. The truth is, he made no choice. By staying silent, he chose inaction. And in a palace where silence rarely means peace, his inaction only widened the divide. As the controversy around Prince Louis grew, Camilla did what she's done for decades, went into damage control. But this time, the stakes were higher. She wasn't just defending her image. She was fighting to keep her place as the palace's undisputed power player. To do so, she moved fast. Within 48 hours of the Trooping the Color incident, royal press officers, many more loyal to Camilla than Kensington Palace, were ordered to shift the narrative. Carefully crafted quotes appeared in sympathetic newspapers, suggesting Prince Louis had been overstimulated and that Camilla was simply comforting her grandson in a grandmotherly way. One headline read, "Queen Camilla's gentle whisper to cheeky Louis, a misunderstood moment." But people didn't buy it. The video told a different story, and fans analyzed every expression and gesture. Worse, social media users dug up past clips of Camilla looking cold or dismissive toward the Cambridge children, sparking viral threads titled, "This didn't start at Trooping." Camilla took things further with a spin campaign. A series of opinion pieces circulated in loyal press outlets portraying Catherine as overprotective, unwell, and overwhelmed. One royal gossip column even hinted Kate might be having a quiet breakdown. Another asked, "Has the perfect princess cracked?" A loaded question timed perfectly. Sources close to Kensington say Camilla personally approved which publications got which stories. She didn't write the headlines, a trusted source said, but made sure they were flattering to her and damaging to Kate. It was a classic royal tactic. Weaken your rival without naming names, plant doubt, and let public opinion do the rest. Camilla hadn't expected the public backlash. Supporters of Catherine flooded social media with messages of support. For 3 days straight, the hashtag #StandWithKate trended. Parenting groups and women's organizations spoke out, calling the coverage sexist, manipulative, and a troubling look inside palace power struggles. Even Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie reportedly expressed private concern, with one insider saying they saw it as a targeted attack on a mother doing her best to protect her child. Tensions inside the palace reached a boiling point. To prevent leaks, a policy was introduced banning junior staff from carrying cell phones during family events. Communications teams were ordered to delete any mention of the incident from official royal social media. Some assistants were required to sign strict confidentiality agreements. One longtime employee reportedly resigned, saying, "This isn't about the crown anymore. It's a cover-up." Meanwhile, Catherine stayed silent. No statements, no interviews, no appearances. And that silence spoke louder than any headline. While Camilla flooded the media with her version, Catherine's quiet determination became a rallying point for many. Mothers everywhere saw themselves in her restraint. Her refusal to engage in palace politics increased public sympathy and revealed Camilla's desperation. The Queen Consort had launched an attack, but instead of quieting the controversy, she only made it worse. Behind the palace doors, Prince William noticed the biggest change. For weeks, William struggled to balance his duty to the crown with his love for his wife and children. He called for peace, encouraged Catherine to let the turmoil settle, and tried to shield the palace from scandal. But there comes a moment when silence no longer shows strength. It becomes submission. After weeks of rumors, insults, and planted headlines, William finally acted. It started small. A detail. Prince Louis was missing from the list of upcoming royal events. For the first time, the young prince, usually seen at light-hearted public appearances, was not on the official schedule. When reporters asked, a Kensington aide gave a bland answer. Louis was spending private time with his mother, but behind the scenes, the decision was deliberate. Sources say William personally removed Louis from the event after learning Queen Camilla would attend. A senior aide said he didn't ask for permission or negotiate. He simply said, "Louis will not be going." The message was clear. For weeks, William had played the role of peacemaker, but without raising his voice or saying a word, he drew a firm line. King Charles did not take this lightly. The choice reportedly sparked a heated argument between father and son at Clarence House. A source called it their most serious clash since Harry's departure. Charles, clearly under pressure from Camilla, accused William of fueling the media frenzy and harming royal unity. William calmly replied, "I will not expose my children to those who insult them, not even family." Those present say the room grew cold. Charles, visibly unsettled, tried to change the subject but was met with silence. William left without shaking his father's hand. From that moment, the palace atmosphere began to shift. For the first time publicly, William and Catherine appeared without Camilla, and the public noticed. The following week, Catherine looked radiant at a children's hospital event, holding Charlotte's hand, while William helped George plant a tree outside. The media praised their grace, and royal fans celebrated them as the future the monarchy deserves. Camilla, meanwhile, was absent. Rumors said she'd pulled back from many events, citing exhaustion and conflicting commitments. But insiders say the real reason was simpler. She was angry. Angry that William had openly defied her. Angry that Catherine's quiet strength was winning support. Angry that the once untouchable Queen Consort was now overshadowed by the very woman she tried to undermine. A royal insider said Camilla privately told Charles, "She's turning the country against me, and William is letting it happen. Charles, unsure what to do, considered appointing a neutral family member, perhaps Princess Anne or Sophie, to mediate. But advisors warned that taking sides now could spark a family war. For William, the decision was already made. By standing with his wife, he sent a message to the monarchy, the public, and his children. Even royalty has limits, and no crown, tradition, or family title is more important than protecting those he loves. The Prince of Wales had finally chosen a side. And the woman beside him? She was no longer just a future queen. She had become the palace's strongest force for accountability.